think we live in a simulation, like a video game, and there's people just sitting there watching us, laughing at what's going on right now because they're playing us like a video game. I can see how people come up with this shit. I can see how people think we live in a simulation. Insane. And so I'm sitting here, I'm watching it happen in real time. I'm like, they're not even trying to hide it from us anymore. Oh my God, it blows my mind, dude. So then I wake up the next morning and Facebook, gone. They deleted me completely. They were censoring me the very next day. The First Amendment is dead, you guys. The government has the technology to spread propaganda and misinformation like we've never seen in history. This is legit the Great Reset. It's happening right now. We deserve to know what's really going on. This is the Uncensored Truth. What's up, guys? It's Jeremy with the Uncensored Truth, the podcast designed to free your minds from the grips of the mainstream media by giving you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the uncensored truth. You know what? None of this even matters. No, whatever. Whatever. I screwed up on the intro. That's fine. I think we live in a simulation. I think we actually live in a simulation, like a video game, and there's people just sitting there watching us, laughing at what's going on right now because they're playing us like a video game. I know that sounds crazy, but I mean, I don't honestly believe I'm inside of a video game, but I can see how people come up with this shit. I can see how people think we live in a simulation because there's so much shit going on right now, and although it's horrible, it also feels like it's just too perfect, like it's a design, like it's a video game, like it's pre-written, and somebody's just sitting there watching it play out and just laughing at us because it's happening exactly how they wrote it. And let me explain what I mean by this so I don't just come off crazy to you. Every single day we are seeing the headlines in the news and on these TV shows that are pushing the exact same narrative that there is systemic racism in the police force. And their goal here, they want to defund and get rid of the police 100%. And the idea of that is insane. It doesn't make any sense. It's just laughable, but it's also terrifying to think that people are seriously thinking of doing this. Like they're trying to make this happen. And the people who are doing it are the elite. They're celebrities. They're LeBron James. They're politicians. They're people who will never ever know what it's like to live life without the protection of the police because they themselves have 24-hour security or bodyguards around them at all times. Dang it, I did it again, man. I am sorry, people. I was getting into it. And that happened, guys. I am sorry. Whatever. Let me do this. These celebrities and these wealthy, elite people in this country will never, ever have to live a single day without protection. And that's why I think it's completely hypocritical that they want to do this. And this is seriously what they're trying to push forward. And it's only going to affect people like you and I, us normal people. It doesn't matter if you're white, black, or whatever. This is going to affect every single one of you, and they do not give a fuck about you. They just want to get rid of the police. They want to get rid of their guns. They want to get rid of our guns. They want us to be completely unprotected. Now, the reasoning behind that is a much bigger picture. It's fucking insane, but it's real, and that's what they want. That's their goal, and we're headed in that direction. That's what's going to happen. But I want to tell you why I believe we are in a simulation, and in some instances, why it seems like we're in a simulation. I don't really believe that we are, but my God, it feels like it. It really does. Now, again, I'm going to break down the actual facts behind this systemic racism lie and show you why it's completely made up. It's fabricated and it's manufactured by the mainstream media and by some of these activist groups. And I'm going to break down these numbers again. I hate to be repetitive because I know I went through this on previous episodes, but I just need you guys to understand what the fuck is going on. And I need you guys to see this so you know without any doubt that this shit is made up. Here's the facts, okay? Black people make up 13.4% of the U.S. population. So in a perfect, equal, non-racist world, they should make up 13.4% of the people who are killed by the police, just based off of odds, by probability, by math. But that's not the case. They make up 25% of the people who are killed by the police. 25%, not 13.4%, 25%. So that's their argument. That is their proof that there is systemic racism in the police force and they're killing black people like crazy. So we need to figure out why that number is 25%. And to do that, we've got to look at like the odds and the probability and stuff like that. And as I'm going to give you an example here. Let's look at skydiving. Now, I don't know the numbers surrounding deaths by skydiving, but just to help paint this picture, I'm going to make them up so that I can show you what I'm talking about. Let's just say 1% of the people who go skydiving die because their parachute doesn't open or whatever. They hit the ground because their parachute doesn't open. 1% of the people who skydive die. Now, let's say you skydive twice as much as I do. You are going to be more likely to die by skydiving because you do it more than me. It's not because the ground is actively looking for you and trying to pull you towards it without a parachute. It's not because you are a certain color and the ground and parachutes just act differently towards you. No, it's because you do it more often, so therefore you have a higher probability of dying. It's odds. It's math. That's just how it works. Black people make up 25% of the crimes that are committed in the U.S. They make up 50% of violent crimes. So if black people are putting themselves in a situation where they can potentially be killed by the police at a rate of 25%, they're going to make up 25% of the people who die by the hands of the police, who get shot by the police. That's how it is. It's not racism. It's odds. It's math. It's probability. That should be easy for you to understand, but people do not get it. No, they probably would get it. People understand math. Most people do, at least. But they do not take the time to look this up. You just assume that I'm lying. You believe everything you see on the mainstream media because you believe that they're there to tell you that they're just telling you the truth. You believe these celebrities. You believe Black Lives Matter. You believe politicians who are known to be fucking liars. They are dying at the exact rate that they're putting themselves in a position to die. So instead of trying to figure out why 13.4% of the U.S. population is making up 25% of the people who are killed by police, let's try and figure out why 13.4% of the U.S. population is committing 25% of the crimes, committing 50% of the violent crimes that are happening in the U.S. I can tell you it's definitely not because police are systemically racist. It's definitely not because police are going out and literally targeting black people to try and kill them because they are racist. No, that's not what's happening, you guys. The idea that there is systemic racism out there and you are going to stop it from happening by getting rid of the police is absolutely crazy. On average, roughly 25 unarmed black people die per year by the police. Now, again, some years that number is quite a bit lower. And again, it's also, there's a lot of questions surrounding that because what do you consider being armed? Driving a vehicle is still considered armed, should be considered armed, and I don't think they take that into consideration. But the number is roughly 25 black people, unarmed black people die every single year by the police. Now, you want to get rid of the police 100%. You want to defund the police. You want to abolish the police to save these 25 lives. Thousands of black people die every single year by the hands of other black people. Thousands by black on black crime. You want to get rid of the police, which will almost guarantee that that number doubles. Now, I don't know that for sure because of the fact that this hasn't happened yet, but I can almost certainly tell you that it will happen at a much higher rate because right now, crime is on the rise. Homicide is skyrocketed because of the fact that there are police quitting every single day. It's next to impossible to get new recruits to join the police force because they are terrified. They are being targeted by these activist groups, and it's going to get to the point where we're not going to have anybody left to protect us, and you are going to see black people die by the thousands and thousands. It's going to triple, double, whatever. I don't know the exact stats. I don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully we don't find out, but it's going to cost thousands of lives. You're trying to save 25 black lives at the cost of thousands more. How does that make sense to you in any way? It doesn't make sense to me. How does this shit make sense? And that's what I'm talking about here. None of this makes sense. The only thing that does make sense is that it's just made up. That it's a script. We're part of a fucking story, a fake story that somebody created a long time ago, and we're living through it right now. I don't know. This is why I think we live in a simulation. They're trying to tell you that all white cops are racist, and it's factually inaccurate. It's just not true. There's no evidence to back that up whatsoever. Not only that, but they're going to tell you that Black Lives Matter, when in fact, some Black lives do not matter to them. Not all Black lives matter to Black Lives Matter. I give you an example of this. Why do we know who Ma'Khia Bryant is, but we do not know who Nyara Givens is? You know who one of these girls are, but you do not know who the other girl is. Let me tell you why that is. Ma'Khia Bryant was the 16-year-old girl who was shot and killed by police while she was trying to stab another teenage black girl. He saved her life. It was completely 100% justified. But if you look at Black Lives Matter and these news media outlets, they're trying to villainize this guy. They're trying to say that knife fights have happened all throughout history, and we've never needed the police to come in and kill the assailant. It's like, do they even hear what they're saying? They sound fucking completely nuts. So that's where I think this is crazy. At the exact same time that you have this 16-year-old black girl trying to stab another teenage black girl and a cop saves her life, at the exact same time, in the same place, also in Ohio, I believe the first one happened in Columbus and this happened in Cincinnati, you have a 13-year-old black girl that stabs another 13-year-old black girl. She dies, kills her, because the cops were not there to save her. And you see her dad in the report, and he's freaking bawling. And he's like, I was holding her and there's nothing I could do. I tried to stop the bleeding, but I couldn't. She was stabbed in the neck. She bled out in her father's hands. He no longer has a kid because this girl murdered her. And I guarantee if you ask him what he thought, he would tell you he wishes there was a cop there to save his daughter's life. She'd still be here today if there was a cop there able to stop that. It's crazy. The irony, the fact that this can happen at the exact same time, literally the same stories are happening at the same time, and they're giving you both scenarios. If we do not have police, that's what happens. And you have LeBron James. When this 16-year-old girl was killed by the police because he was saving the life of another teenage black girl, when this happened, LeBron James thought it would be genius idea to post a picture of this guy on his Twitter saying, "You're next." This is just after Derek Chauvin is convicted. And he posts a picture of this guy that says, "You're next." And accountability, whatever, with an hourglass kind of showing that time's running out. And this guy is a hero. He saved a young black girl's life. And LeBron James repays him by putting a fucking target on his back. He has millions of fans. It's getting smaller and smaller by the day because people are starting to get sick of this guy. But he has a ton of fans. And they're not going to look up and see what happened here. They're not going to do research to see what has happened. Hello? Yeah. They're not going to do that research. No. They're going to see this man walking down the street one day, and they're going to hurt him, if not kill him. His life is in danger. He put a target on his back by being reckless and putting this on his Twitter. And then the body cam footage comes out that shows that he was 100% justified in killing this girl to save the other girl's life. 100% justified. And LeBron James deletes the tweet, but he doesn't apologize. He says the reason he deleted the tweet is because people are going to manipulate what he's trying to say to make him sound racist. No, what you did was fucked up. I hope this guy sues LeBron James for slander. I hope he sues him for putting his life in danger. LeBron James is worth roughly $1 billion. Take that from him. Take his money. He deserves to lose a lot of that. That man should sue him for as much as possible. I hope he does. Don't get me wrong, LeBron James is an amazing basketball player, but he is not an intelligent politician. No way. He doesn't need to be getting involved in this stuff because what he's doing is causing more harm than good. Yes, he's done a lot of good for the community. He's taken his money to help people. He's used his money to make people happy, but Now he's using his words and his huge brain to put people's lives in danger by putting out a fake story, by putting out a fake narrative as to what happened that day. He could have got this guy killed. He needs to be held accountable for that. If you're going to impeach Donald Trump for trying to tell people to be peaceful, but then calling it an insurrection, then you need to hold LeBron James accountable. You need to hold people like Maxine Waters accountable. You need to hold these people accountable for inciting violence, because that's potentially what would happen in these situations. It's crazy. It's like they're fucking with us, man. This shit is happening intentionally. Like, this is happening by design. Of course, we all know that there's propaganda in the news. Like, they're spreading narratives and propaganda like we've never seen before. Now, that's also happening on TV. That's also happening on the shows we watch every single night. And I talked about Grey's Anatomy. And for the whole season of this 17th season, Grey's Anatomy's been talking about COVID. They've just been going overboard, and people hate it. Their ratings are suffering because of it, but they do not care. Whoopsie, hit my microphone, didn't mean to do that. They are spreading the message with them. So they don't care that their ratings are being hurt. Not all of them, but at least Shonda Rhimes and the people who created Grey's Anatomy. They're pushing this COVID message like crazy. Well, COVID has kind of died down in the news. You know that. It's not as big of a deal as it used to be. The number one thing in the news, and the number one thing that's on all mainstream news right now, is systemic racism. Racist cops killing black people. That's all you see on the news right now. And the very last episode of Grey's Anatomy focused primarily on that. Almost the whole episode was about a black, I forgot the guy's name. I think he's either a paramedic, doctor, or part of the fire department or whatever, but he's one of the characters from Grey's Anatomy. He gets pulled over, and this almost his whole episode, he's sitting there and he's doing absolutely everything that the cops ask him to do, yet they're still treating him like shit. He's terrified. He thinks he's going to get shot and killed, because that's what happens. You do everything the police tell you to, and then they still kill you because they're racist and they want you dead. That never happens. Usually there's an altercation, there's fighting, there's running, whatever. It's something that causes this to happen. It's never like how it was shown in this fictional story on Grey's Anatomy. That you never see a story like that where a guy's just standing there doing everything he's supposed to do, and then the cop shoots him anyways because he's racist. They make it seem like that's what's happening, but that's not what's happening. And so you had this episode where the guy, it's almost the whole episode, they basically bombard you with police are racist, and it's crazy because the timing is insane. Like, that happens at the exact same time that it's front and center in the news. Like, it's like it's a campaign. It's like they're pushing this propaganda and this agenda at the exact same time, trying to accomplish the exact same goals. I know it sounds conspiratorial, or I know I sound fucking crazy like a conspiracy theorist, but this is what I truly believe, and there's so much evidence to back that up. I don't understand how other people can't see it. Like how liberals and those on the left, I mean, those in power know it's happening because they're the ones making it happen. But like, just people like you and me, like the Democrat, left-leaning people out there legitimately believe that all these things are happening because they will not take the time to just do the research and see that it's fake, see that it's not true, see that the mainstream media is fucking with you. Here's another example. I've been watching All American. It's a show about a young teenage football player in high school trying to make his way to the NFL. And it's actually, I believe it's loosely based off of real life story of a guy that was in the NFL. I forgot his name, but I do believe that it's lightly based off of his life. And anyways, this show has been really good. I've enjoyed it a lot. I think we're coming to the close of the third season, and it's been doing good. They haven't done this same thing. They haven't pushed a bunch of propaganda. I haven't seen anything about COVID at all, but I have seen some stuff about BLM. I've seen stuff that's kind of happened in the background. They haven't really focused on it. They haven't made it about each episode. But it's been there. It was present. It was small. But this last episode, I watched this episode with my jaw open, my mouth wide open, my jaw dropped. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And for you to understand, let's talk about one of the newest stories that are in the mainstream media right now, and that's the shooting of Andrew Brown. The story is that And police footage has been shown to his family and his family only. And they're saying, according to this footage, he was sitting in his driveway in his vehicle with his hands on the steering wheel, and the cops showed up and they executed him. Just plain and simple. And the mainstream media is running with that story. You see that in there. They're running with it like the family says he was executed, blah, 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 because it's the only information we have. But you wait until you have the full information so you can tell a legit story. No, they're telling that story to the American people, and the people are eating it up, and they think that's exactly what happened. We don't know what happened. All we have is their perspective, because, of course, they're going to be upset. They're upset because somebody in their family died. But let's look at the other facts and the other evidence. This guy's been busted for drugs. He's been busted for a number of things. He's got a rap sheet that's 180 pages long. Now, I hate painting people in a bad picture because that probably has nothing to do with why he was killed. But in this instant, it actually does. So the guy has a rap sheet, 180 pages long. He's a drug dealer, and he actually, within the last few weeks, was selling drugs to an undercover agent. They actually had a sting operation where they caught him selling drugs to an undercover agent. The police were there either issuing him a warrant or arresting him for this warrant because they busted him. And with a long criminal background, this guy's looking at a lot of time. He's looking at a lot of time. It's controlled substance. It was either cocaine, methamphetamines, or both. But he's looking at going to jail for a long time. His family said there was a lot of cops there. Where's the other body cam footage? They've been asking for it. There was a lot of cops there. Where's their body cam footage? Well, the reason why there was a lot of cops there is because they were issuing a warrant or arresting him for a warrant. And according to witnesses, he was trying to get away. He was trying to get away from the police. He was backing out. A police car actually parked in the back of his driveway so he couldn't pull out, but there was a small window for him to get out, and he was trying to hit that. He legitimately had to drive through his yard to get around these police. Well, let me tell you something. Other witnesses also said that there was like body damage to the car, so he must have hit another cop car or hit something. I don't know, but the story could potentially be that he was trying to get away from the cops, and he didn't want to be arrested. So if there's a lot of cops there and he's driving through his yard trying to get away, do you think maybe that the cops' lives were in danger because he was in a vehicle and he could have ran them over? Do you think that's a possibility at all? I don't know. I don't know that for sure. We won't know until the rest of the footage comes out or until we see any of the footage whatsoever. But that's not what's being reported. It's likely that happened. I don't know for sure again, but it could have happened. And if that's the case, it will be 100% justified if the cops shot him because he was potentially going to run over another officer or there were other lives in danger at the time and they wanted to neutralize the situation. Like, it will be 100% justified. Yet right now, the people don't know that. They think that he was executed because that's what his family has said. So here's what's crazy. The main thing about this story that's in front and center in the news right now is the fact that they haven't released the body cam footage yet. They're saying that they're holding on to it because they're trying to cover up the story. They're calling this a cover-up. The family's saying that they are deceiving the American people by not releasing all of the body cam footage from the other officers, and they were only able to see 20 seconds of the video essentially, and they want to see all of it. But they're calling it a cover-up. It's huge. Like, the main thing about this story is the fact that the body cam footage hasn't come out. And it's unique to some of the other stories because right now we're focusing on the body cam footage and how they're not releasing it. And there's reasons they're not. But that's the story right now, is the fact that the cops are trying to cover this up to save their own ass because they're racist and they murdered this man. So here's what's crazy. I'm watching All American, a show that hasn't been pushing a lot of propaganda really at all for almost 3 seasons. And then last night, it's focused 100% on white racist cops killing black people. Here's the story. This girl in this episode is in her car. The cops show up and she's doing everything they tell her to do. She's obeying the police and they frickin' kill her. They murder her. Again, something that is very, 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 very rare to happen. But the story is similar to what happened with Andrew Brown. Here's the crazy part. The main thing in this story is that the police are not releasing the body cam footage. The daughter of the DA, who has her own podcast, is upset because her mom won't release the body cam footage. She wants to be able to tell her viewers what exactly happened, release the footage. It's a cover-up. They think it's a cover-up. They think that they're trying to cover up for the police because they murdered this person. It's crazy that almost identical stories are happening at the exact same time. I saw this episode and I was like, are you kidding me? How is this possible? How did they know to release this episode on time, but exactly on the same days at which this story is happening that is almost identical? Same headline, same everything. How is this possible? It's because they know. It's because it's designed. It's because it's planned. This is done on purpose, you guys. They're fucking with your emotions. They're fucking with your feelings. They're fucking with your mind. This is all happening on purpose. It blows my freaking mind, you guys. I'm sorry for getting emotional, but it's terrifying. Like, times are extremely sensitive right now. We need to make sure that we do whatever we can to not fall into a fucking post-apocalyptic wasteland. That's where we're headed. You've seen the movies where the cops are completely gone and there's no authority whatsoever, and the bad guys, the criminals, are running the streets and they're ruling the world, and it's just complete mayhem. That's the type of shit that we're gonna run into once we get rid of the police. You do not want that. There's two things right now that the government is focused on. Getting rid of the police, who are here to protect us, regular people, and getting rid of our guns, which is also designed to protect us. In fact, the Second Amendment was put in place so that we can protect ourselves from the government. So that the government, what's going on back here? So that the government does not have the ability to just create a totalitarian freaking dictatorship and just take us over and rule us. We have weapons in case we need to form a militia and stop the government from complete tyranny. That's what the Second Amendment is there for, and they're trying to fuck with it, you guys. They're trying to put laws in place that will ultimately take away our guns, and they're also trying to get rid of the police. The two things that are here to protect us. People like LeBron James, politicians, these celebrities, they never have to live a day without protection, without security, without their bodyguards who are armed. They never have to know what it's like to live a life that's unprotected by police or weapons. They will never have to do it. Yet they're the ones pushing it. They're the ones trying to make this happen. It's insane. Blows my mind, you guys. Racism has been manufactured by the mainstream media, and most people should get that, but they're too lazy to do the research. They're too lazy to just look it up. No, they're not. I think they have the ability to do it. They just don't. I don't understand how this is possible. They do not take the time to look this up, see the statistics, and see that this is a huge lie. They're fucking with us. Again, I get so emotional because I can't believe that people won't just do it. I feel alone. Like, it's crazy, you guys. My gosh. And you think getting rid of the police is the answer. No. No, you guys have no idea what's going to happen. It's the most absurd idea I've ever heard in my life. Police are not racist. Do people know that police are 18 times more likely to die by the hands of a black person than the other way around? I'll be called a racist because I'm not following this narrative, because I'm not saying all cops are racist and killing people. No, I'm not going to say that because it's not true. But by not saying it and not joining the group, I will be looked at as a racist. People will and it's already happening. I've been called racist so many times over the last couple days just on social media. I try not to get on social media at all. I fucking hate it. But I'm seeing these stories coming out every single day, and I understand how important it is that people do not fall for this. So I've been on there trying, even if it's one person at a time, trying to get through to them to tell them that, hey, this isn't what you think. But just by questioning the mainstream media's narrative, by questioning the narrative that all cops are racist, I now have been labeled racist. People legitimately think I'm racist because of the fact that I don't think cops are racist. I mean, I'm not saying that there is absolutely no racist cops whatsoever, because there probably is. I'm just saying that I don't believe all cops are racist, because that is the story that's being put out there. It's just not true. There's no evidence to back it up whatsoever. Quit falling for it, you guys. please just open your eyes and think for yourself. All I'm asking is that you do some research and think for yourself. Look this shit up and you're going to see the same thing. That's all I'm asking. I got this information from the FBI Department of Justice website, and I'm going to put the link to that in the description of this video and on the podcast itself, because I want you guys to be able to see this. But I keep looking over there. I think there's something. What the fuck? I keep seeing something showing up over there. It's weird, man. Am I being watched? Great, I'm paranoid. Mother effer. Anyways, I'm going to put the link to the Department of Justice FBI website where I got these statistics. Now, you're going to have to look at the numbers and actually put them together and get the percentages that I was giving you. You'll have to just figure it out. It's math. But the information is there. I'm going to give it to you, and you will be able to see that 13.4% of the U.S. population is making up 25% of the crimes. Therefore, they are making up 25% of the people who are shot and killed by the police. They make up 50% of the violent crimes. They actually commit the exact same amount of violent crimes, roughly, as white people. So even though there's 5 times more white people in the United States than black people, they still commit about the same amount of violent crimes. Why is that? We need to figure that out. Why is that? Why do black people, who make up 13.4% of the population, why do they commit 25% of the crimes? I don't know, but what I do know is if they do, they're probably going to make up 25% of the people who were shot and killed by the police, just off of probability, by odds. Not because of racism, but because of math. And if you do the research and you look this shit up and you just think for yourself, you will see this same shit. You will know that what I'm telling you is the truth. And you'll realize that not all cops are bad. Most cops are good. Most cops are here to protect us. A majority of them, 99.9% of them probably. You need to stop listening to the news. Stop watching the mainstream media. It's a fucking lie, every single bit of it. This isn't how the world should work, but here's where we are. It's frightening. It's terrifying. It sucks really, really bad. And whatever, man. I mean, I don't know how to fix it. I wish I did. All I can do is just give you information and give you the ability to hopefully think for yourself and not fall for this freaking garbage, not fall into the trap. All right, guys, I'm going to go. Thank you for watching. If you guys want to subscribe to my channel, this will probably be gone in a couple days. Subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the podcast, and again, I really do appreciate you watching. Till the next time, keep your eyes open because there's some shit going on. See ya. That was horrible. There was no feeling in that whatsoever. I'm drained emotionally. I really am.